Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Carson, and I will be going through this Office 365 presentation for you guys. This presentation was made by Jeff Jesse, but he has asked me to take care of this meeting. So let's go ahead and get started. And this meeting is being recorded so that it can be posted later for anybody that wasn't able to attend. I have muted the audience on this so that we don't have issues with everyone's microphones being on. So what I'd ask you to do is if you see the chat window, it should be in the meeting. If you just ask your questions there, and we will have a couple people that will actually be answering them in a chat, and I can also answer them at the end of this presentation as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, we are moving to Office 365, your email. It is a cloud-based service. The benefits of this cloud-based service is that it's continually improving. Microsoft is always making changes to add new features and to fix any bugs that are introduced. And it being a cloud-based solution means that your email will be housed on Microsoft servers instead of on-premise, which actually allows us to have less infrastructure to keep up and maintain. There are a lot of good apps with Office 365. The main ones I'm going to talk about are OneDrive, which allows you to save your files and things to Microsoft Office 365. There's also Planner, which is like if you know what a Kanban board is, it's kind of a task board that you can have different users in a group and do tasks with each other. And then there's also Microsoft Sway, and then also the Microsoft Office products online. That means you can use Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all online. It does not change your desktop client, so your desktop clients, if you have Office 2016 or whatever Office version installed, it will still continue to function. This isn't making any changes. This also allows you to edit these documents directly from your OneDrive in the cloud. So we've done a pilot phase. We've actually done several pilot phases, and some of the issues we've encountered are we've had login failures that were sometimes due to the format of the login. With on-premise Microsoft Exchange email, you were able to use like our domain UAB / your Blazor ID. With Office 365, anything requires what is called your UPN, which is user principal name, and it is always going to be your Blazor ID at uab.edu. Now, this only applies to like mobile devices and Mac clients and any device that's not on the UAB domain. So if your computer is on the UAB domain, so you use your Blazor ID to log in, more than likely you will not have to do this at all. It will just automatically work. But if you're on a Mac or on a mobile device, you will have to have the Blazor ID at uab.edu as your login name. Most things should change automatically. You should not have to worry about your phone. However, occasionally we have run into issues where you have had to go change that login ID, and that's normally the only issue we ever encounter with mobile devices. So you'll just need to go change the login ID. There's also been some issues with email service performance, and that mostly has to do with the fact that you're connecting from our network to the cloud to your email. So sometimes there is a little bit of a slowdown. How we alleviate that, Microsoft's recommendation is for you to turn on cache mode in Outlook, and this will allow it to download a local copy of your mail, and you won't even notice the difference. It'll always be pretty smooth. It'll help with you searching your email and stuff like that. And we recommend this even for on-premise, but it's definitely highly recommended for whenever you're using a cloud-based service like Office 365. Now, logins for Outlook required when restarted. This is alleviated by doing Outlook 2016. The new Office 365 uses a new version of authentication called Modern Auth, which allows it to pass through your login credentials directly to Office 365 from your desktop. So there should be no reason for you to log back in. However, if you're using Office 2013 or 2010, you will be prompted for a login. With Office 2013, this can be alleviated with a registry key that can be inserted into the registry that allow it to pass through. But Office 2010, it cannot be fixed. So our recommendation is, of course, to upgrade to Outlook 2016. and also email stuck in outbox within Outlook. This issue we've run into several times, and what will happen is your email will appear to be working perfectly, but when you send email, it will get stuck in your outbox. This doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen occasionally. The way to fix that is just to have your profile rebuilt, and your IT person should be able to help you with that, the help desk, or we even have some self-help documentation that I'm going to show you in a minute. The improvements we've made out of these pilot lessons are also not just the things above that I told you what our fixes are for those, but we've also had our performance improve on our migrations due to feedback. Also, communication improvements we have made. We've added more communications to the users migrating in order to inform them of beginning and end of the maintenance cycle, and also detailed issue remediation guidance. So here's what you should do before the migration. So stop any external forwarding of your BlazerID at uab.edu email. Now, right now, we are not forcing people who are at forwarding, to an external account to stop that. But you will not be migrated to Office 365. So if you're forwarding your BlazerID email to like Gmail or Hotmail or something, we request that you would change that to forward to your BlazerID at mail.ad.uab.edu. And if once that happens, then you should be able to be migrated. Again, also upgrade to Outlook 2016 is if needed, and use cache mode. And then also remember to confirm or set all your logins to the format BlazerID at uab.edu, which again, that should only be for people who are off our domain or on your mobile devices or Macintosh computers. And then we also request that since your migration is going to begin on Friday at 7 o'clock, we request that you close Outlook. Having it open shouldn't cause any issues, but we have found that it's just better if email is not even running on your machine, and then it does a fresh connection at the end of the migration. In order to check the status of the migration, we ask that you go to status.uab.edu. When the migration completes, we ask that you also be sure that you can send and receive email, and that email is not stuck in your outbox folder. So, test your mobile devices, and then also test your desktop client when you come back in on Monday. If you have any problems at all, you can contact AskIT at 996-5555 or also email them at askit@uab.edu. We also request that you respond to our Office 365 survey whenever you receive it. This will help us to continually improve this process of migration. Also, after your migration, your webmail will no longer be at mail.ad.uab.edu, but instead will be at mail.uab.edu. All right, the website for this is uab.edu/Office365. I'm going to open this, and I'm going to bring it over and show it to you guys. Here we go. Bring it over here and put it in the frame. All right. So this has a lot of good information for you. It's going to show you about printable instructions for the migration that you can open and view. And it shows you the pre-migration preparations, what to do during the migration to go to the status page, and what to do after the migration. There's also some 365 migrations FAQs, which will help you answer some of your own questions. So like, for instance, what do I do if my email doesn't work in Outlook on my desktop or laptop? Well, here are our answers to those. There's several other ones. So I recommend that you go ahead and go to this site before the migration happens this Friday. And there's also videos and knowledge-based articles on that page. And then again, status page is status.uab.edu, and if you have any issues, contact the help desk. All right. If you now this is the part where we're going to try to answer questions from the chat window. If anybody has any questions, um, now is the time to go ahead and try and ask them, and we will do our best to answer them. Um, I have one that says, does email come in during migration? Yes, you actually will not notice anything until it's complete, and then you shouldn't notice anything at all except for you'll go to a different web link for your email. So your mobile devices should change on their own. You will receive an email when the migration starts, and you should receive one when it's done. The migration for shared drives doesn't mean anything. This is just your email. Yes, web email will stay up until your migration is complete. So what will happen is if you had web email open and you were at mail.ad.uab.edu signed into your web email and then the migration completed, your mailbox would no longer be in that system. You would then have to go to mail.uab.edu. But it will stay up until the migration is complete and done, and then it will switch over.
Yeah, on the question of the last backup there, so what happens is your mailbox literally gets moved. So when a mailbox migration happens, a new mailbox is created in the target location, and then each message is moved. So your mailbox here eventually goes away, but we do keep a lagged copy. So that would be available for um, maybe 30 days, I think, maybe 7. We'd have to go back and check. We haven't ran into any issues, though, where we had to go back and look at a previous version.
Email aliases, we have a question that says, does this affect email aliases? They should not be affected. Any of those email aliases that are on a account now are moving to 365 as well. We'll give another couple minutes for questions, and then we'll end the meeting. Oh, the answer to the alias question was that they are not affected. Nothing will happen if they try to access Outlook during the migration, Divya. We just request that if you can leave it alone and shut Outlook off, that would be good. But nothing's going to change about the mailbox. All right, thank you, everybody. Again, your mail migration will start this Friday. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to email the help desk, and they'll get to us, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. Thank you, and everyone have a good afternoon. Thanks.